Is there an absolute morality? Is there an absolute right and wrong? No, there isn't. For instance, the Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill," because killing is wrong. Yet in the same Bible, God kills many people himself. He destroys Sodom and Gomorrah. He helps Israeli armies defeat their opponents. He floods and drowns everyone except for Noah's family. So God himself goes against his own absolute moral right and wrong. Another thing is with things like killing is bad, you can actually think of examples where killing is better than not killing. So, for instance, if someone is in such a terrible physical state that they are in agony and their whole life is worse than death, it would actually be the most kind thing to kill them, to put them out of their misery. You can think the same thing about animals. If you see some animal on the side of the road that's been hit by a car or something and it's beyond repair, the kindest thing would be to put it down. Another example is if you're in a weird situation where killing one person would mean saving many other people from certain death. For instance, if a terrorist comes and with a suicide vest on and runs into a mall and is about to blow himself up, and you've got a gun on you and you can shoot him and stop him from blowing himself up, you are killing a person, but you're actually saving a lot of other people. So when it comes to any absolute statement like killing is wrong, if you can find one example that proves otherwise, it makes the absoluteness of the statement go away, or untrue at least. So really morality is quite relevant, and to a certain extent it's a man-made thing. So for instance, animals do not have a sense of morality. If a hyena is being chased by a lion, or if a wildebeest, if their baby is being eaten by a lion, the wildebeest doesn't sit there and judge the lion and say, "You are wrong. What you've done is morally wrong," on a moral sort of standpoint. No. The wildebeest might be upset, might be sad of the loss of their child. It goes against their genetics to, it goes against their instinct to raise a child and to protect the child, and they know they don't want their child to be eaten, but it's not a moral judgment. It's not a right versus wrong thing. So morality has mainly been made up by humans. It's a kind of, what does it mean to even be right? For something to be right or for something to be wrong? What does that mean? It just means it produces a feeling of judgment within yourself. If you judge something as being right or wrong, it's a judgment, which really means it's something that you like or you don't like, or you think is good for society or good for the individual, or good for yourself or bad. There's no absolute thing called right and wrong. It's just a feeling that we have about things. It's a judgment about a certain situation or a certain action. So in saying that, there is some basis for morality. For instance, within many different cultures, they all agree on a basic set of right and wrongs. You shouldn't kill, you shouldn't rape, you shouldn't steal, you shouldn't hurt people unnecessarily. And so what I believe is there is a basis for morality, but it's based on the human genome, really. Humans have built in themselves a sort of empathy. And people with empathy generally agree on the same moral principles, which is, if I do something that hurts other people or hurts animals or hurts the planet or causes harm to others, that's bad. So in a way, there is a basis for morality, which is based on empathy of humans. And it's loosely based around what I just said, the idea that causing harm to others is bad. But in saying that, there are some humans with no empathy, psychopaths for instance, would not think that killing is bad. So that whole idea is not absolute. Each individual person has a slightly different idea of what is wrong and right, which shows that there's a very human, subjective nature to it. So I do think there's a human basis for morality based on empathy, and anyone with empathy will generally agree that hurting others or creating damage or destruction to others is wrong, because we don't want that done to ourselves. Basically anything that we don't want done to ourselves, we wouldn't want to do to others because we know it's harmful. So there is some basis for morality, but it's not absolute. It's not God-given. It's not like God up there says, this is right, this is wrong, and it's an absolute truth in every certain circumstance. There's a lot of human aspect to it, and there's a lot of subjectivity to it, and the very idea of morality and the very idea of right and wrong, it's a human-made thing, really. Thanks.